class on Inferno. Today, joined with me are two Inferno pro players here. We have MDB from Team Orca, if you'd like to say hi,
Why, hello.
and Hino from Team MTX.
Hello, I hate my teammates.
Wonderful.
Completely
All right,
understandable. Same.
As we load in here, we will get into the combat matrix so you guys can show off the basics of the striker. But what are your quick thoughts on Inferno, on why someone should pick it up and why someone should play it over any other striker?
Well, a big giant laser. Shotgun. Cannon fire. Brimstone. Hell. There you go. That's all you need to know.
Okay. Oh. So the Discord was low. Let's see. Sorry. We might need to restart the stream. Here, you talk one more time?
So.
Okay. I'm gonna restart the stream here. We'll restart this one. Sorry. I turned down the Discord audio a little bit, and I think it went down too low where it wasn't picking it up.
So, on Inferno, you got this really nice thing called the movement, as you saw there.
Right. Give me 2 seconds.
It is pro-level tech for when you're bored guarding a site objective. Let me tell you, it gets rid of all the boredom instantly. You need to know how to do that in order to keep your sanity on this mech.
Right, I turned my recording off.
I'm recording, not you.
Alright. We're starting in 3, 2, 1.
Send us back in.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Mecha University's class on Inferno. Today with me I have two wonderful Inferno players. I have MDB from Team Orca.
Hi, how are you?
This is totally the first time we're doing this. I also have Hino from Team MTX.
I hate my teammates and I hate everybody I play against.
It's evolved. Alrighty, so we're gonna get into the maps to show the basic abilities here. Totally haven't asked this once already, but if you got two words to recommend on why someone should play Inferno, why don't you say why you think people should play Inferno?
He has a great primary DPS option when paired with strikers such as Aquila, Welkin, even Narukami, able to secure frags as needed and clean up damage.
Yeah. And MDB, what's your more eloquent way of putting
Giant big laser.
Big laser go?
Lots of lasers. Shotgun. Cannon fire. Brimstone. And hell.
Big laser, good. We love big laser.
We love giant sword attack.
As we get into the match here, I'm gonna get off to the side so we don't have anything spawn on our heads if you guys want to come over here. But why don't we go through the kit just real quickly here. Why don't you first go over the charge splitter, the shotgun and charge modes.
So, charge splitter. There's about 3 or 4 ways you can stun lock yourself while using these weapons. They're great weapons for primary DPS if you want to barrel stuff somebody. At this distance, you'll see I do about 2 bars to Tricera. At this distance, you'll see I do about 3 or 4. So, they're great for damage if you're willing to sacrifice the safety of a range in order to do them. However, if you try to rapid fire them too quickly, you can stun lock yourself, as you're seeing here, by alternating fire. And if you try to fire them both at the same time, you can also stun lock yourself. The charge shot, you can stun lock yourself by letting it go accidentally halfway. So, well, not even halfway, but 90%. So you need to charge it all the way up to the max in order to actually get damage off. However, in exchange for 4 seconds of charge time, There's another way you can stun lock yourself by releasing it and shooting at an enemy. In exchange, you get a hit scan shot, which can instantaneously hit things like flyers, Tricera, basically anything you have a lock on. It's going to hit. Yeah, it is hit scan. And you can free aim it from all the way, well, anywhere on the map, basically. So, if you're a good enough shot, you can basically free aim it from anywhere on the map, just like Aquila. So,
Yeah. Why don't you talk about like its actual damage though compared to the shotguns?
its damage compared to the shotguns is shit. Okay, it uses 2 rounds and does half the damage. So, the charge shot, or the shotguns do about 22,500 damage. There you go, you see that? Massive damage.
Yep.
The charge shot only does 24,500 or 25,000 damage. So, it's abysmal, to say the least. But it does have much longer range compared to that. As you can see, the shotgun can't hit at this range, really. And the shotgun the charge shot does massive damage. And you can use the charge shot in conjunction with the big laser to do even more DPS. You can get about 2 or 3 charge shots off during a big laser if you time it properly. Yeah, the charge shots are great for
Why don't we move on, talk about the split emitter really quickly, and then the focus emitter too.
The split emitter. The split emitter has 12 simultaneous lasers that pop out. They only can track one target at a time. They track missiles, they track players, they track anything that you want to get out of the air. Drones, shields, basically whatever's on the battlefield, they track and try to hunt. However, speaking of which, they only fire 1 laser per target. So, only ever have 1 lock-on. At the same time, you can hit 1 target with more than 1. So, as you can see, Tricera disappears. And that's not even using the shotguns at the same time. Inferno has the highest 3-second alpha strike at about 384,000 damage in a 3-second period.
Yep.
Nobody can beat that alpha strike. However, in exchange for it, Inferno is quite weak in the aspect that he has to do it in. He has to get up close, point blank to a target, which he's countered in that region by melee. Only thing you don't want to face is melee. If you face melee, you're probably going to die at that range. So,
why don't we talk about the focus emitter though, and then we'll kind of get into the more matchups later.
Focus emitter. Focus emitter does 2,500 damage to start, ramping all the way up to 5,000 damage. As you can see, the armor values of the Tricera are lowering that damage, but it starts off at 2,500 and ramps to 5,000 over time. It also has a 25-second cooldown, meaning that if you cancel it at any point, your minimum cooldown is going to be 5 seconds. So if you accidentally activate it, turn that off immediately, because it goes to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 seconds for every second it's active.
Alright, and then last but not least is the booster kit, also commonly known as Trans Am by you. Why don't you quickly talk about that, and we'll talk about kind of the more advanced ways of using it after, but why don't you go over the basics here?
Booster kit, you turn it on, you dash, you leave a clone. Shoot me real quick with a howitzer.
Okay, I'll just do this.
So, turning it on allows for increased fluid armor regen. As you can tell, I'm regening through the damage right now. However, leaving it on, so turning it on does not, stop shooting me for a moment. Turning it on does not stop you from redlining. If you redline, it will not help you. It only helps you if you already have fluid armor. So break my shield really quickly. Okay. So as you can see, I activated it and it didn't help me. So it only activates if there's shield to already help. unlike previous tests, but that's a whole separate thing. So, second thing is, fire at me now. The clones, they take lock on. Oh, well, continue firing at me. The clones can take lock on away from you. So as you're dashing, you can be dashing through hail of gunfire while doing things. So you want to use that and combine it with long dashes in order to get the most out of everything and dodge the gunfire properly. Third thing, if you toggle it, you have a much shorter cooldown of 3 seconds compared to 3, 6, 12, 18, and I think 21, 24 seconds. No, it used to be that. It's 18 seconds max now. You get 6 seconds of active time for 18-second cooldown. So, while you can basically be almost a god doing whatever you want for 18 full seconds, or 6 full seconds, you're dead for 18. Dead in the water for 18 seconds. Do not let it get to the max timer or, well, death. You know, any thoughts?
On just Trans Am or everything?
Overall.
Because my whole notes would take us to 20 minutes on everything basic. I have way more info.
Yeah.
So
we do
let's
want
start.
to see you go through.
I'll try to TLDR really quickly. So we already talked about charge splitter, but I'll go over that. So charge splitter theoretically is better at 45 meters or under. You're only gonna miss 1 or 2 beams at 45 meters out of 30. 5 to 6, you would miss 5 to 6 at around 50 meters, and you roughly miss up to 10 beams at 100 meters for you guys. So charged beam theoretically is better in most scenarios until you're up against Trike Stego or a Welkin who's low and there's target prio to be had. However, highest burst combo damage in the game is uncharged splitter shots with split emitter, but we'll get to that in a second. Within 15 to 20 meters. Like MDB said about the fire lock, like where you can get locked out of firing for 3 to 4 seconds. If you time the M1 and M2 spam correctly, you will get a slight ROF increase, but that's only because the guns start to properly fire after the first shot. So there is rate of fire increase after a while. And from what I understand, you can charge the weapon while drop down landing and shoot a shot immediately. And I think reload is 9 seconds, right? For 1 ammo?
Yes.
Yeah, so it is 9 seconds, guys. There's going to be some times where you want to use all the ammo right away, and there'll be some times where you want to hold it if you're sky camping in the air.
Yep.
And that's charge splitter notes I took later from earlier from training. So shotgun is really strong, but you have to time it with split emitter properly, and the charged beam is better with focused emitter in my head most scenarios. I'm gonna go over split emitter quickly. That is aux 1, so it shoots 12, right? And most of the time it is gonna lock up to 1 unit and intercept missiles. But if I go to Charlotte right now, and Charlotte's almost full health, right? I tested this earlier. You can get Tricera if they're not doing anything to 20% hull damage most of the time. So I'm just gonna shoot here. And that's consistent. I can get her to that low health on Trike or Stego almost consistently if she's not droning and not using shotgun.
Another thing. Look at me, Charlotte.
Yeah.
The damage immunity of Fortress Form prevents this damage.
Yes.
So, damage immunity of this shield prevents me from actually dealing damage and breaking the shield,
Yes.
even though it only has 40 to 50,000 hit points.
So, yeah, the scenario I explained is like very optimal and rare. You're not going to get this unless complex is broken, for example. It is generally better to go above their head and use charged shotgun in this example. It does way more.
Yep.
If you try to use split emitter like that against targets like Trike or even Stego in front of them, you're gonna get that damage blocked. It's better to fly above them or most targets.
One thing that I have, I do use myself is I use the aux 2 to break Trike's shield and then use aux 1 up close.
Yeah, focus emitter is generally way more optimal in most cases against Trike and Stego for sure, or any target prio that your Welkin boxes. Split emitter is like a very optimal use case of damage if you're basically point blank with them.
So
But it
Darken,
is the highest burst damage.
Darken, the emitters, they're both the emitters. Split is the first ability, like this. This is the first ability, the split emitters. Focused emitter is the big, huge laser, but they're both an emitter.
All right. Do you want to talk about the focused emitter for a second? You know.
Yeah. I forgot to mention, split emitter. I checked all the refund brackets and noted them down. So, when I say aux flashes for the abilities, I mean when the circles appear in the ability. So for split emitter, it comes out to 3.5 flashes is 5 seconds. You can CD refund it quickly before then to get 5 seconds. 4 ability flashes is 6 seconds, 5 flashes is 7, and then 7 flashes is 8 seconds on split emitter. So if you're muscle memorying it to CD refund, that's how you muscle memory it, is the ability flashes.
Huh.
All right, we can go to focused. Yeah, that's how I muscle memory my 3s and beams.
I didn't know the flash.
Okay, let's go.
Exist.
Yeah, they
That's nifty.
are hard coded. Yeah, so let's go to split emitter quickly. Big beam. It technically does less damage in burst. However, it does have increasing damage. So,
Yeah, we'll get into the next match and keep going if you want to keep
So-
talking.
to my understanding, I didn't play August Beta Inferno, but I think Mobility Kit gave you damage increases, right?
No, that was only in the previous closed betas before the
Okay.
the August one.
So when we get into the game again,
Yeah, we're just gonna quickly swap that.
I'll quickly note that down, guys. Focus emitter has a damage increase over time. And it starts off really low against fluid and hull damage, but it quickly scales up.
It starts off at I think like 2,500 per tick, and then goes up all the way up to 5,000 per tick at the max duration of the focus emitter. So,
Yeah.
in total, I think you can get a trike to about half HP with the focus emitter if they don't have their complex shields up. So, it still does a lot of damage, just not as high as the split emitter.
Okay, so... Alright, we're on payload now. So, big thing, checking my notes. Focus emitter, besides Aux 3, which is Mobility Kit on Inferno, Focus emitter gives you stagger immunity against melee units and other things that stagger you. So it cannot cancel your... It can't cancel your emitter.
It can't cancel your
cancel
emitter,
split
but
emitter.
you can still get staggered, but it can't cancel your thing. It's very weird. Like Charlotte, hit me with a howitzer. Hit me with a howitzer now.
Yeah, shoot him.
So I still get staggered,
So, okay,
but
yeah.
it doesn't stop the laser. So
Yeah, so it's just ability, I guess.
Yeah.
You're allowed to use it. It's not really...
now hit me with a howitzer with Aux 1. Cancels. So if you're ever get freaking meleeed, keep. It's not a knockback. Yeah, it's not a knockback immunity. Hit me with a howitzer. I can just tank it with my Aux reactive. So,
Yeah, there's
the-
niche cases for
So,
that. It's against
MDB,
melee, though.
really quickly, we'll take the questions and kind of ask them, answer them all at the end here. So,
Yeah.
so we're not constantly interrupting for questions.
Yeah, I'm trying to get through the abilities as quick as we can because it is already almost
Yep.
9, I think. So big thing with this ability, this is the ability that has good burst damage and is able to hit better if you're Welkin boxes targets or you're 2v1ing Aquila. Because of the way charge splitters, charge beam, and 2 work with scaling damage, if you're able to crack Aquila quickly and hit him with charge splitters beams, you're able to kill him quickly with another guy or even by yourself. So that's like one of the best combos in the game to kill a sniper. Using your 2 and your charge splitters together.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to talk about this map for a little bit while we're here? And then
So,
we can kind of bring up other things as we're talking.
Inferno Ox 1, on this area, I've used it several times to great effect, going straight through the wall, like Kool-Aid Man. Although they've nerfed it since August, but you used to be able to go through those walls super easily back in August. Yeah, you can break these walls. It's super effective on Inferno because you just go straight through them.
Yeah.
Because of all the
But why don't you talk about like your positioning, general positioning with your team, how you play around this A point?
On the A point, I normally play on top of the A point with my other people. If you want to hop on real quick. Hop in the middle. I normally play just circling the A point. Just in it, just going around in a circle, trying to hit whoever I can. So, melees can't really hit me without having to go outside the circle. That's just me personally.
How do you generally play this point?
So,
Oops, sorry.
Most of the time, I would argue it is better to point blank beam them and shoot them. This map's a little weird because of the way most comps are run and who you're going to be playing against. Most of the time, it's rare you're going to sky camp A and just stay in the air infinitely, depending on what's being target primed. If they're not really dying, I would argue it's better to stay in the sky and just beam split the point or focus emit it. But if they're pretty low or you see there's opportunities, you should go in and shotgun them and just point blank them. It's generally better to stay on the ground, I would think, if you're not getting too harassed by melee.
Yeah, and you actually brought up a good point there. Something I want to kind of quickly bring up is playing forever in the air versus playing on the ground, right? Obviously, with your Trans Am, you're able to stay up in the air for pretty much as long as you want and basically become a pseudo flyer. Why don't you quickly talk about the advantages and disadvantages there and when you want to do it?
So, obviously, I'll say this right now. There's an easier way to sky camp infinitely besides 3. Your beams hold you in the air, so you can gain even more EN quickly without having to press shift. And then because of this, you can keep getting more EN over time, just spamming your beams and spamming charge shots. So that's a better combo than just pressing 3. That's how you sky camp properly. The big thing with sky camping and Mecha Break compared to Armored Core is in Mecha Break, because of how Trans Am works and how movement works and how target prio works, if you're able to just keep damaging them constantly over time and getting free damage, maybe even getting a kill off your Welkener, whatever mech, they have to dedicate resources to you. Flyers in this game are very overpowered compared to ground strikers because they just get so much free space to do damage and whatever. And if you're getting free damage value sitting in the air versus the ground, right? That's basically like another angle they have to look at. So, in my opinion, I think most Infernos that aren't me or MDV currently don't take advantage of this because of how there's not really that many Inferno players. Sky camping is very overpowered in this game. You should be like sky camping as Inferno most games. It's just a second angle for them to look at. And especially against melee units who have to assault boost and waste EN, it's better for your front line to take advantage of. And you're also able to swap targets to target prio and kill low health targets, especially like Lumis or Panakas or Aquilas that are low. So that's basically the difference between sky camping and ground fights for Inferno. And that's why Kashinma and other Infernos stay in the air most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, we saw it at the Invitational too, and kind of going to play here. It feels like a very good way to kind of deal with the melees diving onto you, of just getting it really high up in the air, and if they want to come after you, they're going to be eating a lot of damage coming up to you too.
Yeah. And all I have to do is I either Trans Am your melee or whatever, I tank your damage and run from them, or I just drop down land and then go back up. with the boost hopping tech, and then I go up. That's only like 2 or 3 bars used instead of 4 or 5. So you can maximize your EN very quickly and just keep running away and getting new angles and damage.
Yeah. Speaking of new angles, as we have the B point coming up, why don't we talk about how you play the B point? Because obviously you can't really play as much in the air like you were talking on the A point. Here you kind of you're forced into this tight space. So how do you generally like to play it? MDB, I'm sure you play it kind of the same, but what are your thoughts here?
I would say this point's tougher than A or C in general because you really only have 2 options. You have to go through the front, beaming and shotgunning them with Trans Am just to stop them capping, right? Or I generally like the roof when I can. It's not the best damage. However, I can focus, emit something on point. And since I'm not too far from you, I'm 100 meters. If you're under me, I can just shotgun you. I personally prefer going on top and just dropping behind you guys and just like focus or split emitting you. I think it's better to go up top than the front because up the front, all you're doing is you're just taking damage. The decoys are not going to do much for your team to push in. You need to do a pinch angle with your team. Inferno's really good at pinching and just dropping behind and targeting something like a healer or Tricera.
So
what I like doing here is move off Hino for a moment.
Yeah.
So I like dropping this thing. If it would drop. Can you howitzer it?
Yeah, I didn't even realize this could drop.
This drops like most of the matches that we're in.
Did not know that.
Yeah, no, that can drop, and it makes it really fun to fight around.
I don't know if I've ever seen it drop.
It drops in a lot of our matches. I think it dropped in the tourney match that we played.
It drops all the time in Indestructible. I'm not sure.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
So I like playing around this and using this as a piece of cover to just fly or just glide around, so melees can't target me.
Yes.
So
you can also go on top of it and split emit them and shotgun them.
And they don't normally look up like this because usually the point's just a giant arena of colors is the best way to describe it, between the Sky Reader bubbles, the Welkin mists, the Stego smoke, and everything else. So
yeah, and
a question that did come in, because you mentioned it, was about the boost hop tech as far as getting air.
So, okay. So, I'm not sure many people know this. I'm sure barely any people in the Indestructible teams know this. So, you know how if you normally boost, then jump, it takes 2 instances of EN, right? And this is something I actually learned from Caldian, like 3 weeks ago, offhand. If you quickly press boost, jump, it only takes 1.
Yep.
So, MDB, are you able to do it?
So like this?
Yeah, are you only... So, do shift boost on the ground once. It should only take 1 bar of EN.
Oh!
2.
Yeah. So, for Lumi players, we
Yeah.
call it bunny hopping tech.
I didn't know about that.
I just call it boost jumping.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was bunny hopping. So,
so for Lumi players, we'll combine it with down slamming and then just keep chaining them together to kind of keep dodging and preserving EN, but I know others use it for different purposes.
it does require a little bit of frame timing, but it is not that demanding, and you can do it in any direction. So this is important against Welkin, Panther, Stellaris, and Elysinus. You need to conserve as much EN as you can with Aux 3 to avoid their lances, avoid down slams, throw them off, throw the reeds off, etc. with drop down. And boost bunny hopping or whatever allows you to save 1 more bar of EN or 2 or 3 over time. So it's important. And it helps you traverse over terrain too on maps where you want to use cover.
Yep.
It gives you extra EN.
As we kind of get into this C point and the point's about to end, is there anything you guys do different on the C point versus the A point?
I normally try to do the same thing I do on the A point until as soon as A point or C point breaks, though, I try to go into one of these little crevasses and hide down here for a moment, regain the bearing until I just pop back up and start lasering more people, spreading out more damage evenly. But normally, if I'm not on the heavies in CQB, I'm normally sky fighting from C all the way to the end.
Yeah. So, next up, I want to load into Imisra, and I'll also hop back on to Panther here. You know, I'm sure you have different thoughts than MDB on how you play around capping objectives. Because actually, we'll go into Vigilant Imperium.
Yeah.
Imperium right there.
You should go Welkin.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
go
Welkin
Welkin.
would
Yeah.
be better.
Okay. Alright, I'll go into Welkin here.
This is actually something I just need to confirm too, is when I shoot you from the front if you're capping.
It does
Just
get
to make
blocked.
sure. Yeah, okay. Well, if I charge shot you, it technically pens, but I just need to make sure I don't have to fly above or behind you. Because I know above or behind you, I will direct damage you, but front is, I think, only shield.
Yeah. Question that we had as we were loading in was, so is it more of a confidence thing to be in close range to cap fights? It seems like you guys both kind of feel that way. If you feel like you can play safe and get that damage through and get it up close, but it seems like it's a bit risky. Even with Trans Am, you can still get caught out, especially in the Welkin meta.
If we need bodies, I will 100% plan point, even if it gets me killed, to try to cap it. But if I can get the damage free and nobody's getting on the point, then I will 100% just stay in the air, not worry about the objective.
Alright, so let's see what objective comes up here, but why don't we talk about this map briefly, because obviously similar ideas, you know, you have your B and your C points as very open, plenty of space for you to fly above, and then you have your A point, which is inside. So, do you really see this as playing any different kind of map dependent, or is it more just on every map that you're able to use that space, you're for the most part using it?
I don't really play on the ground in this map too much unless there's melee pressuring me. I normally try to play in the air as much as possible on this map because you just go so far when you dash.
Alright, so do you want to talk about capping versus the Welkin here?
So,
Okay. Yeah.
You know, you want to take it away?
Yeah, we can start. So, I want to just test something. Start cap, I'll shoot you from the front. Did it stop it?
It did not.
stopped from the side there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just want to shoot you from the
5
front to see if the
seconds there.
percentage changes.
Give me capping and shield. Nope.
So I have to go above you behind.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Right, just making sure.
Oh,
Okay, so a big thing that people need to know about Inferno, Welkin's box in 3 is going to be a surefire way to stop him. So there's really only 2 ways you can approach this as Inferno. Or one way that's reliable. You have to use split emitter on his box. It's much better than focus emitter from what I understand.
Yes.
Testing DPS and other things. And once box is broken, you have to fly above him or behind him and charge shot him if he has 3 up. You cannot use uncharged like the shotguns against him. You have to use charged shotgun. So if we break box here, I have to go above. Else he's just gonna cap for free. Inferno's not that great of a counter to stopping Welkin on
so
cap OBJ.
let's see what happens when we fire the Ox 2 for everyone who doesn't know. Activate Ox 3 really quickly. So, Inferno's Ox 3 is completely negated by Welkin Mist, as you can see. Like, no damage, do not press go, there, I don't even deal damage to the shield. It completely negates energy damage. Now, piercing energy damage, if you want to activate the, will still go through, however, it's negated by over half its damage, meaning that 12,500 is now 5,000. So it Welkin's 3 completely negates Inferno and Hurricane's abilities.
So obviously there's two aspects to it, right? You are a very good tool to blow up the box, but you're not a good tool to deal with the shield.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. You still need the support from your team to kind of get some follow through, but you can at least clear out that box for your team. So there's at least a good part to that matchup, whereas some other strikers don't have any good to them with the Welkin matchup. But yeah. Next, let's talk about you guys capping points. I know, MD, you like to in general play objectives a lot, maybe more than you should.
I normally only do on like Stella Observatory and Cape Blanc because the maps are just so big, people can be just across the map. I normally never go for objectives on this map unless it's like rare occasions where I think I can cap it and nobody's looking.
I'm gonna call you out here because I've seen you do otherwise many times, but in the off chance someone is capping, why don't you talk about how they can get to a point safely and keep themselves alive? You know, obviously using that Trans Am and such. I'm sure there are going to be times where an Inferno player is going to crap the point.
So, from C, let's say, or B. So, if you cap it, you're just going to want to go. You're going to want to immediately press 3 and spam the toggle. Get as much energy back as possible whenever it's on. So, conserve your dashes when it is active. And that's how you're going to get there, with as much energy as possible still. So, while I'm dashing, you see the energy bar going up? If I spam it while I'm dashing, it's not going to go up, but rather down slightly. So, in order to get there, you need energy. If you run out, you're dead. And your clones will help keep the melee off of you, but they can only do so much. If you want to attack me in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, a good Welkin can just dodge around them too. I have the auto aim on, but if I was not to have the auto aim on, I could still just melee dash around it, you know? And like, you can just keep melee dashing on Welkin until you get a box that you like.
Yeah, and that's a separate thing. Here, when you get your Ian back, try to box me. So this is another thing, you can just keep dodging around a box, and there's not really much a Welkin can do to you. If they're a mediocre or decent Welkin, they can only really hit you if they're a really good Welkin. So just dodge to every single corner back and forth.
Yeah. So, you know, do you have any thoughts on capping points and this map in particular?
Okay, so generally, yes, Inferno I would say is a decent capper. Toggle aux 3 every 2 seconds, keep jumping. Maybe sometimes, depending on how equal the match is, you want to use aux 3 for longer than 2 seconds, but that's a game sense thing. If you just know you can get away with it, right? And having like a 6 or 9 second cooldown on aux 3 if you're safe. Like, that's just game sense. I can't tell you if toggling on and off all the time is better. It depends on what you're getting chased by. So you just have to know, you just have to play more games. I generally randomly go from 3 seconds to 12 seconds when I'm capping like keys and stuff on Stella. Just depends. Inferno's decent at killing key carriers. It just depends on what it is. If it's Welkin, you're not gonna kill them right away. If it's Panaka or Lumi, you better pray they're half health.
Yeah.
Fly wave wings.
Oh, not even that.
That point.
Inferno at mid-range cannot out-damage a Lumi or a Panaka healing. It's quite sad.
That's your charge shot, because it has that range and is basically hit scan.
It can definitely hit
can be.
Lumi.
it can
Yes.
hit Lumi, and if you're combining it with other tools, like an Aquila on your team, it can be very effective between
Yeah.
the two of those.
The ideal like burst combo on Inferno, once again, if they have low fluid, is gonna be your focus emitter and your charge shot if you can. It's just gonna melt lights and mediums and do decent damage to heavies and ultras. And if you have an Aquila on your team, like Claw is free for that, or Welkin Box. That combo is gonna burst anything down if they're caught by the CC. So if you have it and you can use it, right?
Yep.
Like that's probably your best way is if you're gonna kill something or stop objective.
Hit me with the
Box
axe real
2,
quick.
Charged.
So, as you can see here, I'm not getting staggered by getting hit by the axe, and I can freely move and dodge with axe 3 active. So, if you ever do get hit by a melee, hold on, wait a moment. Hit me once, and you need to get away, just activate it, and it's a free get out of jail free card from anything in the game. Aquila Claw, melee, frickin' howitzer, railgun, just free get out of jail free card from any stagger stun in the game.
Oh. Something I didn't mention with Aux 3, and I don't think MDB mentioned it. I've seen Aux 3 people say that you can only use it up to 3 boosts with Aux 3. It's actually more like 4 boosts consistently on 40 to 50 ping, but you can hit 5 boosts. Unfortunately, 5 boosts is very hard to hit on anything above 50 ping, so it's better to just spam it, hit Aux 3 on side mouse button once you hit your 4th boost, and you'll get 4 boosts consistently, and it's always more distance than 3 long boosts. If you can hit 5 boosts, great. It's just going to be hard. But you can boost up to 5 times with Aux 3 for 2 seconds.
Alright, we're gonna get out of this map really quickly here. You know, something about Inferno, I think, versus some other strikers is a lot of Inferno's positioning is very similar map to map, right? Is there really any maps in particular that you feel like you do something out of the norm for Inferno, or do you feel like you're always kind of playing the same vibes versus when you have room to work with in the air and not room to work with?
I think it's a tempo thing. Depending on what comp they have and how much space they give you, I think you have to use the ground a bit more and run to your core more if they're sending 2 after you almost the whole game instead of your Aquila or another target. But if they're only sending 1 after you and they're not really even focusing you get to sky camp more for free. So I think it's more how they approach you rather than the map itself. Although Krob and Poseidon, you do want to kind of hold side point if you have to, although I don't like it, but it is a pretty good strat on Poseidon at least to hold side point.
As long as a Welkin or Sky Raider doesn't come to try to stop or cap it from you, you're usually fine.
But it's generally just you're analyzing the behavior and just changing how you're going to use the sky and the ground to counter their melee or their 2 people or whatever they're sending after you. It's just more tempo thing.
Yeah, I mean, of course, part of that too is Welkin is going to be sent to side points a lot of the time. But I think as long as you're making that call out early when you do see a Welkin, I find sticking Inferno on a side point to be very effective.
A big thing I think Infernos and at least Aquilas on a side note should be doing is they should be calling who's going for them, and if it's a constant thing, not because you need just peel, but you need your team to realize that they're sending important people to you, which means your front line technically just got a huge numbers advantage if they're sending people to Inferno constantly. I don't pay attention to MDB much, but I see him get away quite a bit with 3, and anytime they send a Welkin Panther or something after me, I'm able to escape it too for several minutes. So if they're just wasting time playing the game incorrectly, you can take advantage of that with your team and just win OBJ for free, honestly, or target prio. If they're sending Welkin after you the whole game or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
To that
So you definitely need to take advantage of that.
To that point, do you feel like there's any one striker that like you see coming after you and you're like, oh fuck, like do you feel like Stellar is coming after you? You're worried about, or is there anything just in particular?
I still think Welkin's his hardest counter, even more than Panther, but Panther's really close, just because of down slam and lance.
Panther's real annoying to have to dodge occasionally, but I do happen to think Welkin is the most annoying thing to have to fight and tedious thing to fight.
Yeah, if it's a behavioral thing, right? Behavior's part of competitive play. If you notice he's coming, and you're like sitting in the sky the whole game, the easiest counter is to drop down land. Now, if you guys don't know what drop down land is, you're in the sky and you press like Alt or Control, I think, and you drop down quickly, right? So that's gonna be your best thing to use when you're in the sky. Like, I'm not streaming, so MDB is gonna have to show it.
Yeah.
I am.
I would go in the sky, yeah. Just like shooter, whatever. She's gonna chase you. Maybe she's gonna try to lance you. You just drop down quickly. Oh, 3 and yep. That's how you beat the melees camping you in the sky the whole game. Drop down is really, really strong right now for Inferno and Aquila. Allows him to just waste their time, and he can run back to his team with Aux 3 if he times it properly.
Yeah. So just to quickly kind of show that side point pressure, right? And quickly talk about something else. Obviously, we brought it up before, but your charged main shot, because of how much range it has, if you're holding a side point, you can still be effective in the fight to a certain level, right?
Yep.
Which is also why Aquila's good for holding those side points.
And also, unless it's a Vulcan or a what is it, a Sky Raider, you can just effectively hold a side point from the main cap if you can aim it properly. Like, go and try to cap C.
So,
Yeah.
Like, just they can't cap.
oh yeah, by the way, something that I don't see talked about a lot right now, and I showed this a week ago. Inferno or other mechs can sit in the canister, and Inferno's really good for this one, Krob. So
You can sit in the
You can go to your
canister.
Yeah.
What?
There are some canisters you can sit in.
So
Just a
on
little.
side points on Krob or in some other maps, you can sit in the canisters as Inferno and just come out and gank somebody with focus emitter, splitter emitter, and just kill them.
I think that's how bug. I ain't gonna
And
lie.
I have to lock
I-
onto the canister.
I will say it does feel like it is a bug. That said, I have seen people using it more in some of my matches.
But yeah. I mean, yeah. Besides the
Yeah.
bug, Inferno's just great on side point because he can stall for a while against one person with the emitters and the shotguns. He's like really good at that.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a bug. We should not be showing that, but oh
it's
well.
definitely an exploit.
That's okay.
Should be banned.
I'm going to
Well,
it-
anyways, to get off of that, not to encourage bug use anymore than is already present in the game, but yeah, getting back over to this A point here. Is there anything else you want to talk about on this map?
I think holding side point is Inferno's team dependent and for both teams. If you know their team's not that great at TDM or it's just going to be a stall fest, you can kind of play side point. But I think if it's close, you're better off fighting with your core and just damaging their core, else you're losing out on precious DPS for your team. So it's like it's a very like close shave kind of thing where you need your team or you to say you're gonna leave side point, somebody else has to go, right? Because side point's not the end all be all for Inferno on Krob and Poseidon. It's like very dependent on how much pressure their team has and if you have to go fuck off to your core.
one thing that they did change is the height limit on this map. So you can just sit up here now. Which this is a thing I haven't been abusing because I'm still set in my ways from August, is I still don't think the height limit is this high. I still act like it's this high. Which It's honestly kind of a problem for me, because if I just sat up there, that would be so much more impressive.
Yeah, it's roughly 370 meters above
Yeah.
A.
Yeah. So as we're kind of closing out of this map here, and we have just a couple minutes left. I want to bring up a few additional things here. One, what are your thoughts on if you're duo queuing or just trying to like really synergize and work with one other striker? Who's their striker that is most important to working together with Inferno for you?
Let MDB go first.
If I have a Quill that I know, I'll try to work together with them now. But if I'm solo queuing, I usually just play for myself and try to deal as much damage and kill as many of the enemy team as possible.
You know, any thoughts on a potential duo queue partner?
So, I have a few. I would say top 3 off the gate would be Aquila, Welkin. Third one's kind of a tie between Naru and Lumine, I would say. And part of the reason I say Narukami is just because they don't have claw, but they have a lot of burst damage. So if you guys pick the same target and they're on the level of Zephyr or whatever, you're able to kill like Aquila's and other targets really quickly together. It's kind of the same thing as like Aquila and Welkin shooting the same thing with Inferno. Inferno, like I said earlier, has very good cleanup and burst damage, and that's why he's like, in my opinion, part of the meta from what I've seen in JP and China. He's really strong together with Aquila and the Flyers as a start, and the Welkin too. Welkin boxes, healer, Flyers. Inferno should kill him.
Yep.
Aquila is getting shot down by one of your players. Go on the Aquila. You have Ox 3. You have Focus Emitter. Charge shot him. You should be able to kill him. Inferno's really good cleanup damage. So
Yep.
I would say Aquila, Welkin, or Narukami or Lumine to start with. Maybe a Sky Raider to duo.
Yeah, perfect. Another kind of quick question we have for you is if you were to give it a ranking on a tier list, MDB, I know you were saying A before, and you know you were talking S before the stream started, but what are your thoughts on where it is on that team list right now? Oh, tier list.
Overall, I'd put him at an A or a B tier, simply because there's the Inferno has his glaring issue of his reload, and that makes him really, what is it? Not. It doesn't feel good to play it when you run out of everything and it's on a minimum 8-second cooldown to do anything or interact with the game anymore. So.
Are we talking strictly like just overall play, like ladder or competitive play?
I would say
overall, I'd put him on A or B tier.
So yeah, it becomes a little muddy if it's overall competitive. I feel a little arrogant when I say he is meta and you can't flex him, but it's just the truth. If you go to JP in China, it's gonna become more of a problem in NA.
I 100%
you're gonna see more
agree.
target banned.
In competitive NA and not NA, in competitive tournament scene.
Solo duo, he's definitely a bit worse because most players are not going to communicate or coordinate with him and use his kit properly. So he's going to have a tougher time against like the double, triple melee comps people run, or just like even the double Flyer and Aquila comps. And the fact most people don't use a Welkin properly. So I guess overall, I would say he's like mid to high A at best for sure. You'd be better off having an Aquila, Welkin, and like Flyers in your comp if you have to, right?
Yeah.
There's not that many good Infernos right now. That could change next 3 to 4 weeks, but right now it's just not the reality.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one last thing, and we have time for a couple of questions if anyone in the chat has questions, but a question for you both would be if you had to change or tweak one ability on the kit, what would it be? Do you feel like anything needs buffing? Do you feel like anything needs nerfing? Is there anything in particular that stands out to you?
Reduce the shotgun damage to give me a faster reload. I beg.
Yeah, that's definitely a big advantage Aquila has compared to Infernos. Yeah, Inferno kind of hard counters Aquila, but Aquila has way better ammo economy, and that matters a lot, especially with high noon. It's actually why Aquila and Sky Raider technically do more consistent damage than Inferno, even if you're like a god at Inferno, right? Is because Inferno's really bad ammo econ right now. I would take a little bit of a damage nerf for faster reload, I'll be honest. The reload would offset it. I think it'd be fair.
Hurricane
9
has
seconds
more
for one ammo is
consistent
ridiculous.
damage.
And our last
9
question
seconds is
here,
punishing.
well, our last question before we close out would be: can Claw cancel Emitter? Either or both.
I don't actually know. I know it cancels the first one. I don't know about the second one.
I mean, if we have time to check, I forgot. I've gotten so used to playing against a Renegade and other Aquilas and just using mobility kit to make their claw phase through me. That's how you beat claw.
Yeah.
Just mobility kit it.
I've gotten
beat most things.
used to doing that as well. So
I think the only thing mobility kit doesn't counter is Stellar's grapple stab, but if you have godlike reaction, you can phase through the grapple before Palm Blaster, so he doesn't stab you, but
you can also force him to attack one of your clones with a grapple.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the grapple's definitely the most annoying thing to mobility kit, but you can still counter it.
Yep.
That's all the time we have today. So I want to thank you both for coming. Obviously, both of you are in the summer league, so if people want to watch an Inferno at work, tune in on Sundays for the most part. Hopefully, MTX can have a match streamed this weekend. We're working out the
Are
schedules
planning
right now.
to be casted, yes. Hopefully.
I got videos up on YouTube, but this is also probably going up on my YouTube. So
yeah. So great having you both. Thank you both. Any last thoughts before we go?
none.
Right.
I hate my teammates. I hate MVB.
I hate you too. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
All right. Thank you both.
Bye,
Bye, everyone.